Good afternoon, YouTube. It's Mallory George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, we just got another week or so left in August. It seems like, the year started. This is the 8th month. This is like the second to last week of this month, and time is flying. It's crazy. So anyway, folks, I enjoy doing these interviews, and when I see somebody who interests me, I reach out to them. A while back, this lady has done some interviews with some people who are fans and do content on women in bodybuilding. That is Dee on the spot, and also a man, KL the Wanderer, aka the captain of the Starship. Great guy. I follow those contents, and she is brand new, even though it's been a year, almost a year coming up this month.
Yeah.
That she is IFBB Pro in figures. Figure I see is a transition division for some women who come in bikini and they go up, or either you can go stay figure, go to you got wellness, or you can go up to the other division that's physique and women's bodybuilding. She's a nurse, nurse practitioner. She works in people with heart issues, and also she helps and works in health and wellness. So we have here a special guest here, the lovely Mrs. Heather Tillery. And we would like to ask this beautiful lady, how do you get into sport, as we call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
So really funny. I actually used to run a lot. I would run 3 to 5 miles a day. And I had those little shoes that go in between your fingers, toes, the little Vibram shoes. And they completely ate the cartilage out of my knee. And I had to have knee surgery and was not able to run anymore. And I dated a really fit respiratory therapist back when I was a nurse, and I was like, I gotta get some tone a little bit here, and just kind of fell in love with weightlifting. And then after grad school, when I got my master's, I moved up closer to my first job out of grad school, and the owner of the gym approached me and says, "Hey, you should compete." And at the time, I was like, "No, I don't like the way those women look. I don't want to look like that." And even then, I thought the bikini girls were too much. And went to a couple of local shows and just kind of fell in love with it. I actually did my first show in bikini in 2016, and was told I had way too much muscle. And so just kind of went from there.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like a lot of these ladies started like with an athletic background, like you said before. You're a runner. I gotta say the neat part, because I didn't run. I played football when I was younger. Only one I did was like running together with my big brother when he chased after me, or when I was running down the field. But I can understand the part with the knees. I right now I got bad issues with my knees. I got 2 bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's the tough part. But you found your interest in it, and you got into it. And the thing is also, it's always had to be like, I don't want to be that muscular like that. I wouldn't find. But folks, guys, she's a pretty woman. Even she's attractive. When we got here, my man Raheem Hamilton coming through, he says, say, wow, just wow. Okay, you got some guys excited in here. Also, he says, tattoos are fire. I'm not much for tattoos. I mean, I'm not a tattoo guy. And also, a nurse. Awesome. Hey, you got a new fan. Maybe Rahi, maybe you might get to meet her someday. If you ever go down to Atlanta and have a heart attack or something, but that's besides the point.
And to get our health and wellness company Morph to have a booth at the Arnold. So hopefully we can get there and have a little meet and greet with people.
Like I said, I'm not too much of a fan of the Arnold. Kid growing up, I loved the Arnold movie. I love Arnold. It's not a Puma, a Terminator, and a Prada. But now, to me, stuff I've learned and heard, like, the situation how he pushed out women's bodybuilding out of his show. Push out physique.
Men's divisions, actually. Last year.
Yeah, I know. The only thing left is is fitness and the 2 TNA divisions. The TNA divisions are that's. But yeah, because they're right there. Come on. I'm not with a bikini. I do pay attention to the wellness girls, because I'm from the South, and I used to work in one of my jobs before. Years ago, I used to work in the hood we call it the booty club. So I can't help it. I can't help it. But anyway,
the women, yeah, it's an attractive shape, even if it is disproportionate. It's still speaks a lot to a lot of hard work. So I can appreciate both divisions, but wellness for sure. I think some of those ladies are bigger in the lower body than women's physique competitors.
I know. I saw a girl a while back who just got a pro card. Taylor Aragi. She was doing wellness for a good while. She competed at nationals and took second, and then she switched over from wellness to women's bodybuilding. She's done pretty good. I mean, her first debut show was Tampa a couple weeks ago. She looks all right. Maybe she might, she's still young and developing. Maybe she might need to maybe, clock it back a little bit, maybe try physique for a minute, see how it does. So anyway, so you were thinking about bikini, and what was your thought? Because you got to wear those high heels, and you got to do all that pose, and y'all just got to do the little. You don't do too much pose. You just do a little, stick your butt out. I mean, I interviewed a lady who's a doctor and bikini competitor. Really, share with us when that first time
I
when
think
you're on the stage.
it was just getting my feet wet. I didn't know a lot about the sport, and I didn't have the best coach at the time. He was just the owner of a local gym. I was very naive in the sport, didn't know what I was doing, what I was really aiming towards. I knew I didn't want to be as muscular as some of the higher division females. However, the longer you're in the sport, the more you fall in love with muscle, and the more that you fall in love with that structure and the dedication and hard work that kind of muscle development takes. And so I've definitely have seen growth in my mindset and what I find attractive in a female over time. But at that time, you know, for me, the hardness of a figure or women's physique wellness wasn't a thing then. Women's physique was just, it was too much for me, I think, getting into the sport. If wellness had been a thing then, I would have been very good for wellness because I'm very lower body dominant. I really had to work hard to bring up my upper body and scale back my lower body training to have a balanced physique. But with wellness not being a thing, and I was told I was too muscular, I actually started falling in love with the figure shape. And then 2018, I did Border Clash down in Florida and placed third. The two girls that placed higher than me actually went pro that year. And then I did the Orlando Europa, won my class, but knew I wasn't going to be competitive on a national level. And so I usually take a full year off. I don't compete every year. I compete every other year. I like to make big changes in an off season. And I like, I have a busy life. I have a big career, and I like to balance those lifestyles as best I can. But it's funny because the longer I've been in the sport, I actually competed in women's physique for a little while as well. At North Americans, I did both, and I just happened to go pro in figure and was going to pursue whichever division the judges felt like I fit better in, because I love women's physique posing. I do like the way that the figure division is developing on a pro level better, I think, than women's physique right now, but that's a personal preference. I definitely think there's a lot of beautiful women's physique competitors out there still. Um, but I'm very excited to be in the figure world. It was always a dream of mine after the 2018 show to go pro in figure. And then I thought, due to my little lats, that maybe I wasn't ever going to be competitive in figure, and it has just taken time and training to get there.
Yeah, that's the thing is that it takes time because you know what it's that old saying to before you can walk, you have to crawl. Everybody starts out in like as I said again, figure is a transition division for those competitors who are starting up. They want a division say, you know what, I might be too muscular for bikini, but I'm not big enough for bodybuilding, or I don't have the aesthetics for wellness. So I find this division that's a little bit more, it fits more my criteria because you are a much taller woman. I see some of your pictures.
I'm,
You have 5'5".
I'm 5'5", yeah.
Oh, five. I think it's the high heels that get it.
Every
Yeah.
that I'm like 5'9", and then they see me in person, they're like, "You're really short," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Well, usually some of the best bodybuilders usually are around about 5'5". Like one of my favorites, Andrea Shaw. She's 5'5". I love Andrea Shaw. Oh my gosh, she's such a beautiful woman. I know you guys. I can't help but when I talk about her, post stuff, I'm simping. I mean, I just interviewed a lady who was a friend of hers a while back. I mean, maybe someday I get to have her on my show. Andrea, please. God. But yeah, it's just people got to understand the process. And I remember we had a discussion with one lady. She's still an amateur. How you have to understand the process to trust it. And the thing is also the judging. The judges have a lot of weight when it comes to competitors. Sometimes the competitors say like, "Okay, I'm not doing good in this division." The judge says, "Well, you might need to go up." And then sometimes it's not always best to make that move unless you really seriously feel comfortable with doing that move.
Right. Yeah. And the women get bigger every year. And so it's also not only do we're always trying to grow to fit the division that we're at that year, but also to project how big you're going to need to be the next year to accommodate everybody else's growth. And so it's an ongoing, you're never going to be perfect, so it's ever improving.
Well, like to quote my master, Ra's al Ghul, be aware of your surroundings at all time, young Mistress Wayne. Never give your sure footing for a killing blow. But yeah, that's the tough about that, because you know what? If you look at it now, and I've been following bodybuilding for a long time, I wasn't too big of a fan of figure because I call it, I call it watered down women's bodybuilding. I've always been a fan of it since I was a kid. My brother used to get the muscle max. I mean, like I used to, when Arnold was competing and Lee Heaney and them, and then people like Corey Everson and Richard McLeish, and then you evolve from that to Linda Murray, Kim Zaveski, and over time, and then the divisions come in. Like here comes figure, here comes fitness, here comes wellness. And I'm really learning a lot with my interviews where I talk to women like you in different divisions, but really understand that you still share those aspects of developing and growing as an athlete, and people need to recognize that. Well, folks, we're going to dip into Heather's social media for a little bit and look at some pictures and stuff like that if you're interested, you guys. So, and guys, if you want to follow her social media stuff is in the description. Reach out to her. But and this is no offense to you, Heather. This is something I'd say to every guy out there. No D pics.
Yeah, no.
Stop it. She has a man in her life. She has a job. She don't need that, guys. I know she's a pretty girl. She got a blonde hair. She puffed out. You get that little pop tip, but stop it. Get some help. So we're gonna go ahead in her IG for a bit. And this is why I thought you were really tall. That little short dude right beside you.
Oh, X. Oh, that guy. Yeah. He's as far back, I think.
Yeah, I think he does a lot of the works a lot of shows. I think I saw him at the Nationals last year.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where you get your pro card. That was at the North Americans.
Yeah.
What is that feeling when they say, "Hey, you're now a pro"?
So after prejudging, there was an odd number in my class, and so I was moved into the center box. Sometimes if there's an even number, you don't know if you're first or second. And I had a feeling, and I think I broke down crying backstage in between prejudging and finals. It was a very overwhelming feeling. This was my first time on a pro qualifying stage. It took me 6 years to get here.
Mm-hmm. And there's you right here. There's Shannon Seeley right here at the other end. Shannon, I got a friend of mine. His name is Combo 99. He does content on women in MMA. He's a big Shannon Seeley fan. Shout out to MMA Combo Breaker.
Yeah, he's fantastic. She's very sweet. She got second. And of course the girl in the middle won. She actually won the overall as well. But yeah, that was women's physique. And then there's my figure shots.
Yeah. Because with the figure girls, your shoulders a lot more. It's more about your delts. You had that taper in, your wide back.
Frame. Yeah, you want your upper body as wide as your quads and with a small waist. So you really want symmetry. Which my feedback from this show was to come in a little leaner and to grow my V taper more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing that the judges give you that critique. And maybe next year we see you compete. That will help you in a long way. It's you and women's physique. Good back development. It's a big difference with the poses because some of the girls they say the figure poses you just use quarter turns, but when you do the physique poses and the bodybuilding poses, you get to flex, you get to move, you get to do this. You have to wear the clear heels.
Yeah, you don't wear heels in physique. Yeah, women's physique posing is a lot more fun, and I like being able to do the routine. If you place top 5, you get to do a routine, and so that was a really special moment for me. My prayer was, Lord, let me get top 5 so I can do this routine. And
yeah, and here's your little photo session you done. And getting dressed out. You got your everything's out. You got the sheer dress.
My Viking shoot.
Yeah, you're big. Like I said, I saw you interview with Chaos, so you're a big fan of bikers. We're gonna talk about that a little bit later. And here is one. This is a video I saw. She was talking I shared it with some ladies. They really liked it because you was really speaking the truth of what women need to know about bodybuilding. We're gonna pull it up here and we're gonna play it.
Today we are going to discuss female hormones. So female hormones are not something that you can manage with a one check of a hormone panel. Females cycle their hormones, and in order to check for female hormonal health, you need to check at various points of the hormonal cycle. You need to make sure that they are peaking their progesterone during ovulation if they are still ovulating. Postmenopausal is a little different. You can kind of keep these women in a more steady state of hormonal balance. But for a fertile female, especially one that wants to maintain their fertility, you need to make sure that the hormones are in range for every point of their cycle. So if you are on hormone replacement, you need to make sure that you are in a place that is checking your hormones more than once a year. Anytime that your hormones are changed or your medications are adjusted, you need to be checking labs 4 to 6 weeks. It is relevant when your last cycle was. If you have a cycle, if you lose your cycle, if you're taking any PEDs, all of this stuff is relevant. If you're having any side effects, such as mood changes, acne, or hair growth, these are all important. If you have been to a clinic that has let you, as a female, run your testosterone levels up to 300, you need to do some research. It's going to be very hard to maintain fertility with a test level at 300. Women really shouldn't be over 150, and really over 100 if you're not an athlete. So call Morph if you need more info.
That is some good advice that I think a lot of women need to know, because the fact is, this is a sport where really you're changing the aspects of your body chemistry and your physique when you build muscle at a certain level, especially when you take PEDs or PEDs or anything to bring that level of muscle, because it's hard to bring that level of muscle naturally. Like, I've done interviews with ladies who compete in natural bodybuilding, Megan McCullough, and the big difference between the natural competitors compared to the competitors that compete in NPC and IFBB.
Yeah, there's not many natural competitors. Obviously, that's why there's natural leagues. But I see so many women that'll come into my clinic on 30 milligrams a week of testosterone. And let me just say, like, a transitioning dose for a female that's trying to become a male is 40 milligrams a week. And excessively high amount of testosterone, even for an athlete. I start my women at 5 milligrams a week, and I will not start tests on a woman that wants to have children, because you start really muddying up their ability to ovulate and maintain a pregnancy when you're manipulating hormones like that. So unless it's absolutely necessary, or unless they have physique goals and they don't plan on ever having children, I'm very slow to start testosterone therapy on any female.
Now, this is your posing coach right here.
Yes, I've worked with a few, but that's Grass-Fed Fitness, Josiah Riviera. He's out of Texas. He's really good at women's physique posing. My first encounter with him was at North Americans, and that's because he dates one of my dear friends. She was the one that did the Viking shoot. And I think that if I had gotten to meet Josiah before that day, that I would have probably placed one place higher in women's physique. I wouldn't have won, but I would have placed a little higher. I think he really was able to bring out some better points of my shape than I was doing on my own.
And this is from one of your Viking suits. You got the axe, the shield, your shield maiden, and this is you and the horse, lucky horse.
The girl that did the photo shoot, that's her family's horses. So it was hot day though.
He's waiting. And this is your husband?
That's my sweet husband, yes.
Also seeing pictures. Does he compete too?
No, he does not care anything about competing. He thinks I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's good that sometimes I've learned some situations it's not very good if both couples are on prep at the same time. Like, what you looking at? What you looking at? What? You took the last of the whey milk. I mean, it just but it's good that you two have this common bond and you love each other. When did you first meet?
So he actually worked with an ex of mine, and we didn't talk at all during that time frame. We knew who each other were. But of course, like, if I am a very loyal person, so if I'm in a relationship, I'm not looking at anybody else. I just don't care. And but me and that guy broke up. That guy moved out of state, and Zachary, my husband now, saw me at the gym, and he was like, "Hey, like, how are you? Where's so and so?" And I was like, "Oh, we broke up a couple months ago. He moved." And I at the time had a cookie business. I was making cookies on the side, and he asked, God bless him, he asked me if he could follow me on Instagram. And I was
oh.
yeah, you can, you know. And so he dropped in my DMs asking about cookies, having no intention on buying any cookies.
I know what kind of cookies you wanted.
Went on our first date. We went to a haunted house because I love Halloween. And from our first date until now, we've probably been apart about a week and a half total.
Oh, that's just so sweet.
Tell you, he does not understand competing. He doesn't understand why I do it. But that man will prep every meal for me. He will make sure my lunchbox is made. He will make sure my food is there ready to go. Like he is a big supporter.
That's good that, you know what, and that's the thing about this sport, that especially when the interviews I've done talking to ladies, that sometimes, especially when it's family and friends, they don't understand why you get into sport. Because you gotta think about it, this sport, there's not a lot of money in it. Especially as an amateur, you're not making anything. You put more into it than you're getting out of it. Like, you gotta think about it. It costs more for you ladies to compete compared to men. Counting all the other stuff, like, okay, for guys, they need a lot of food, stuff like that. But then the other aspect for you women, you have to have your hair, your makeup, your suits. I mean, I know one lady said her last suit was like about almost $2,500. I mean, you know, you're paying for nearly, you know, that's almost at a low end apartment in Brooklyn, not Manhattan, Brooklyn. And, you know, and it's just, I like this. This should be more benefits for you ladies, especially when you hit that pro level. And that's the tough part about this sport. I mean, it's a great sport, but, you know, it's not much give to it. Like, when you're like your parents, when you started to do this, what was, you know, what their thoughts when they say, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder"?
My dad lifts, and so my dad loves this. He likes to show off. Like, I'll send him like my progress pictures, and he'll be like, "Look, that's my daughter." Like, he's so proud of the muscle I've built. Granted, my dad raised me as a tomboy. Like, my dad taught me how to defend myself. Like, I would fight my dad. Like, we would wrestle. Like, he taught me how to defend myself. He would, you know, put me in chokeholds. I had to get out of them. Like, I had a very involved father. And but he worked out in our garage. And so he hates that I can deadlift the same that he can. And he's like, "Don't tell anybody that." Like, "But you use straps." He's like, "So I don't use straps." So that's
you're pro. I do pro. You know, he's like,
whatever makes you feel better, bro. It's fine. And now my mom is just like, there's like, "Oh, that's cool." You know,
you got to think about this with mothers. You know, this is different. Like I said, my mother, she raised us. It was like counting my brothers and sisters, there were 6 of us, plus she raised 2 of my nieces and nephews also. And as a mother, you know, your daughters, you raise them to become a woman. But with the sons, you can't but teach a woman can't teach a man much of anything. She teaches a little stuff in there. But as boys, we love our mothers. Those are our first women we ever loved. And with girls, the first man you ever love is your father. And I think some aspects, especially, they want your girls like, "I want my girl to be like me, like wear dresses and like that." But you want to fight with the boys, and you know, I know, you know, it's just me always. Why is always the tomboys always the prettiest girls? You know, we're coming up. When we fight tom girls, we not you want to fight. We feel it. You feel like yeah. Especially if you like boom, like, you know, you're already, by the time you're 14 years old and you're like Mae West, you know, and you know, it's just that. But you know, it's good that you're even though your mother may not be as into it as your father is, it's good to see that she supports you. Now, your father could be out and say, "No, I want my girl to be my son," but you know, and it's good that you have that support. Now, we're talking about earlier with your coach. Who you working with as a coach?
Matt Jansen. Matt Jansen's been my coach since 2019.
And is he works with anybody else, or he's just where is he based out of? Like it's some people like to ask and want to know.
So Matt Jansen owns Camp Jansen. They're out of Stuart, Florida. So you have a couple of coaches under him. But Matt coaches Nick Walker, Sean Clarita. Like he's their coach. And so you know, I'll never leave Matt as long as Matt keeps me. We went through a lot of hormonal issues back in 2020. He's been extremely patient with learning my body as a female in my 30s. This is how I got so involved in hormonal education. It's just because I myself dealt with a lot of hormone issues from competing and just from birth control and life in general, you know. And so I educated myself, but he's incredibly educated. He knows where he also is not, and would outsource to someone maybe more educated to pull in to help with um, my hormonal balance. But just his patience with me, because I think 2019, I prepped most of that year and never stepped on stage because my body just would not get lean. And then in 2020, I won an overall in women's physique. I placed third in figure because I was trying to do both at the time. And my quads did not come in. They did not have a lot of lines after dieting for months. You know, I like the candor that I have with Matt, and he basically was like, I've never not been able to get someone conditioned. I think something else is going on. And so it kind of prompted us to look into my hormones, and my hormones were extremely unbalanced, and my adrenal glands were incredibly fatigued. So my metabolism wasn't working. And so we took a year to fix that. And then we prepped for North Americans. And so just his level of knowledge, but his care as for me as a person and my health is way more than him just trying to get me on stage and look a certain way. He cares about his people. He cares about our longevity in this sport, and he is not a drug pusher. It's not about, oh, let's just take this and this to get a certain look. If we're not able to obtain it with very minimum stuff, it's like, hey, let's look into what else could be affecting us here. And I have a lot of value in that. I've been able to maintain femininity with him. And you know, there's good communication there. So I have adored working with Matt Jansen, and yeah, he's stuck with me for as long as he'll have me.
That's good, because I know when sometimes I have heard often horror stories with some women, especially for women, and when it comes to coaching, like some coaches were like, I remember I did an interview with a who's also a pro figure competitor, how her coaches gave her a cookie cutter plan, and you know what works for a man doesn't work for a woman. How some coaches don't like. I was talking to one lady, her coach is getting ready to do a show, and he's right now, instead of focusing, you know, like some coaches who are pros can multitask. They can make sure they're ready and their clients ready. But she's saying that her coach hadn't been working with her. She might even miss out this year to compete. She might try next year. Great lady, great person. I'm not gonna tell her name is, but I respect her when she told me the story, because you know I want to keep their confidence. Because you know when you tell me something, I want to keep your confidence.
Right.
But you know, people gotta understand that men and women, even though we're the same species, we're humans. You know, we're different.
We are incredible.
Yeah, we're quite different. Like men can put on muscle a lot, faster than women, because we have natural testosterone. Compared to women, you have estrogen. You have, the purpose of this is something like Conan says. The purpose of man is to defeat the enemies, see greater for you, and then measure the women. That's men. We are born to breed, to battle, and to die. Women, your purpose in life is to grow, nurture, like that, have children like this. But you're changing aspects of yourself physically. Like still, you're a very attractive woman. And to quote the other guy, he's coming in a minute, says, and she is beautiful. Oh, I'm sorry. He comes out every now and then. I can't help it. He's one of my mentor personalities. But yeah, to understand that it's good that your coach said, you know what, I'm going to give this to somebody who's more educated than I am. Some coaches say, I got this, but then you mess up an athlete, and then you leave a bad taste in your mouth. We got my man here, KL, the Wanderer, coming through. He says, what's going on? Well, we just have an interview, brother. How you doing? And also he says to you, hi, Heather. Hope all is well. You still do the Krav Maga. Oh, yeah. I remember watching an interview that you do Krav Maga, which is kind of a hand-to-hand combat. It's very popular in Israeli. They use it in Israeli military.
It's Israeli jiu-jitsu, essentially. But what I love about Krav is it's not very choreographed. It's street fighting. It's survive. So today's culture, unfortunately, there's a lot going on. And granted, I do not have the body type of a victim. So, I don't think that I look like a weak person to target, but you just never know. And so I learned in Krav, knife defense, gun defense, rifle defense, machete defenses. I learned groundwork. It's a lot of fun. So I'm actually in my camo belt curriculum right now, and I think I'll belt test up in September. But I've went through white, yellow, and orange. belts. But yeah, I take classes every Saturday. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool. Like I do content on MMA. I'm a big fan of MMA. I grew up with a big fan of boxing. I mean, I grew up with the Mike Tyson era, Vander Holyfield and them, and I do a lot of content. I've done interviews related to MMA, and aspects of that combat fighting is tough. Jiu-jitsu is Brazilian jiu-jitsu. You have, the Japanese jiu-jitsu. There's so many different forms of martial arts in this world. I mean, there's Savate in Europe. There's what's the one? It's a Brazilian. I forgot the name of it.
Oh, I know what it's called too, but
There was that movie about a few years ago. Capoeira. I think that's what we call it, capoeira, where it's kind of like moving around. It's based on African style with a little bit of European style and came together. And and it's good that you learned this because the fact is, especially women nowadays, you have to be careful. Yes, there are crazy people out there. And where are you living? Where are you at?
I'm a little north of Atlanta.
Oh, my niece lives in Atlanta. Her name is Marlena. A while back, I went to Savannah to go see my first bodybuilding show. I missed my train back to South Carolina because I actually got to pick the train in South Carolina. I live in North Carolina, and my dear niece came pick up her old uncle and took her all the way back home. I love him. I was planning on going to the Atlanta Pro because my niece would say, "Hey, come down here, stay with me," but I had to get my car worked on, and car's like a horse. I mean, it was like you wish you could shoot it and be done with it. But yeah, it's good that you found this other things to help you with you. And also, so again, you work in as a nurse practitioner. As we talked earlier, I have a heart issue. I have a pacemaker. I've been had this for quite a long time, nearly almost 10 years. And what's that like when you're working there with the people and dealing with people who are going through these situations, especially with heart failure and all stuff? There she goes. Yeah, there you go.
Got lost for a second, but I'm here.
All right. So what's that? What do you get fulfillment out of your work? Working in this field of medicine.
Oh, I absolutely love cardiology. So I was a cardiology nurse, and when I went into grad school, I did some rotations in heart failure. Then I started working up at a hospital in Gainesville as a heart failure nurse practitioner under the wing of the heart failure specialist MDs there. I got pulled out of seeing patients and started a program building. So I built what's called an LVAD program, which is a left ventricular assist device. It's a big implanted pump that goes around the heart that essentially helps patients in severe heart failure wait on their transplant. Or if they're not a transplant candidate, they can have this big pump that basically supplies blood to their body when their heart can't. So it's really incredibly fascinating because you take patients that are essentially going to be dead in 6 months and you give them years back on their life, and they can actually walk around. They feel like going up the stairs. They can go live their lives and they feel better because their body's being perfused. And I left there in 2021, and now I actually coordinate heart failure programs for it's a 5 hospital system. And so everything heart failure filters kind of through. I mean, the heart failure nurse practitioners out of that system. And then I also will see patients occasionally, but I'm more of just like a subject matter expert at this point of helping.
We can't hear you. I think you all right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I thought I lost you out for a second. That's the
Yeah.
thing about live, folks. You never know what happens. It can be crazy sometimes.
What was the last thing that you heard?
I think we talking about how you were working, when they pulled you out and you work with patients, and just you can get back where you were, your thought,
Okay, so yeah, I built that program at that hospital and then left, and now I manage heart failure programs for 5 hospitals in a hospital system down in Atlanta. So I love it. I absolutely have a heart for heart failure. I like taking patients that they don't feel well and watching them turn around and be able to live quality of life. And then I also have recently, back in March, joined this health and wellness company that I just do telemedicine on the side to help people lose weight and balance their hormones. And so it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's a good thing, especially somebody who's dealing with, especially genetic heart issues and dealing with this. I appreciate you. Like I say, we thank you for your service. And you mentioned your company is Morph Health and Wellness. We can pull it up here a bit. And how long you been with them?
I've been with them since March.
And And
how long they've been around. I want to say they were around about a year before I onboarded, but we were rapidly growing. I think we're like the number 5 in the country or something, telehealth.
that's pretty good because I know nowadays, I think if this is pandemic, things have changed. And a lot of people, like I know, like I had to go see my doctor a couple of days ago just to get some work done and a little blood, just to do a little checkup because with my condition I have to always go in and just make sure everything's up and up. I was a while back had an issue where I went to the hospital where I was dehydrated. I wasn't drinking enough water. It was really dealing affecting my lungs and my blood pressure was high. But I try to be a little bit smart because to tell you the truth, before this, I always take care of my mother for a long time. I gained a lot of weight. I was almost 500 pounds right after she died. And then I said, you know what? It's time for me. I don't have her to take care of more. It's time for me to take care of me. So I'm right now at 388. And that's, but still there's some things that are just hard to break in habits, And the thing about bodybuilding diet, it's just, there's some things you can't always have, After that last show, what was that thing you wanted the most? That thing you wanted that was calling your name?
I usually crave pancakes. And I don't really know why. I think just carby. And then anything chocolate. I love chocolate. So
yeah, like the Rock said, you like pancakes?
The best thing that I ate after the show though is we went to a place called The Yard in Pittsburgh. Right. I don't know. Doing that. Is that better?
Yeah, it's better, I think.
I'll just hold my phone. Maybe that's why. But it was a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich with pancakes as the bread, and he poured syrup over it. So good. That was the best thing that I ate post show.
Oh wow, yeah. I don't eat pancakes too much. My mom used to love, I get the frozen pancakes, and in the morning I fix the pancakes and eggs and sausage, and we used to eat it together. That was our thing. I think last time I ate pancakes was maybe about like 6-7 months ago. I don't even drink milk anymore. But I do eat ice cream. Or like that, how this one guy said, I don't like peach cobbler. I like peach cobbler, but I don't like peaches. And I don't drink milk, but I eat ice cream. But that's the funny thing. Here, my man, KL, he's a hater. He's hating on the thing. He said, "Stop flirting, George, with the Joker." Oh, KL, I'm not flirting. I'm a particular type of criminal. And sometimes I just love to display my talents, And if you can understand that, KL, don't be jealous. Why so serious, son? Why so serious? I love doing that too, because he hates it. He hates it. Also, he says this. He says, I would like to put you in the action movie, Heather. Just play it, And like I said, you were talking with KL. You're a fan of the series Vikings. I used to love watching Vikings. We used to be on History Channel. Who was your favorite character out of the series?
Well, I really liked Ragnar, and then they killed him off.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, it's part of the history of Ragnar. He was killed. There's a movie called The Vikings with Kirk Douglas, and he plays the son of Ragnar. His name is Eric. And there's a part. It was played by Orange Bergnar. He played Ragnar. There's a part where they throw him in a pit with snakes. If you follow the history of Ragnar Lothbrok, that's how he died. He went back to England and they threw a pit full of snakes. I know it kind of, to me, one thing I think when Lofi killed Edelstil, I hate that we killed Edelstil. It kind of, to me, when it kind of fell off to me after Ragnar died, and then, did that battle between Born and Ivar.
I got stuck for a little while, I think in season 5 or 6, right before the battle of Bjorn and Agnar.
Ivar.
And so I stopped watching it for like a year. And I was just like, okay, I just need a break from this. And then I picked it back up and I was like, oh, okay, now they kill off Bjorn.
I think with the Hulu, I don't do streaming. I used to watch it on History Channel. And when they took it off History Channel, I said, what the hell? That messed me up. I saw that they killed Born, and he was supposed to be Born Ironside, right. And he's supposed to be unbeatable, but that just, But anyway, folks, if you ever watch the show Vikings, it's a great show. Loved it. Worst person on the series, Rollo. He's a bitch.
I was kind of glad they phased him out. Like they stopped really doing anything with him after he went off and married that little French lady. So
Yeah, it's just it's like I said, I like to watch those movies like that. To me, I'm a big if you do my conversation, I love my favorite movie is the whole. I'm gonna do a lot of quotes for this. Is the whole Batman Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, people might talk shit about Dark Knight Rises. I still love it. My favorite has to be most definitely Batman Begins, where it starts it off. I saw it in the theaters, and I love the Dark Knight.
mm-hmm.
I mean, he took that character and he ran with it. I mean, it's sad it took him. He killed himself with the thing, but it was just a different. Because I grew up watching the Cesar Romero version of the Joker, the old Batman series. Jack Nicholson as the Joker in the old movie. What's his name? Tim Burton movies.
Mm-hmm.
I just like those characters. They're great. It's just it's I have fun with it. I know Carol don't like them, but I just like talking about it. As a competitor, have you ever think about acting yourself? Because I think a lot of people like with your bodybuilders, they have this mystique around them, especially like almost like superheroes. I knew a lady by the name of Sue Price. She did some movies, back in the day. She was an Ivy Pro level bodybuilder before she retired and had children. Would you like to see yourself? If you were doing a movie, who would you like to play?
I would want to play some sort of warrior, like put me in as Xena or something. That would be fun to me. I'd also like to be like a video game character, like I think that would be really cool. Yeah. I did like modeling and acting classes as a kid. Granted, I looked 18 from the time I turned 12, and so I was hard to cast as such a young person and that looked so old. I would have agents, they told me, like, you don't look your age. Like, you need to come back when you're older. And then my career just developed, and I stopped pursuing anything like that. But, yeah, if the opportunity ever came up, I also think like a Viking show would be a lot of fun. And then I'm really big into Sarah J. Maas books. And she has a lot of very strong female characters. So like Throne of Glass or A Court of Thorns and Roses. She has a lot of female like fae warriors. And I think that stuff's really cool.
How about something like The Witcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be something good. Or since you do Krav Maga, John Wick is dead. You can always be like, Keanu, I love those John Wick movies. The last one I was kind of like, to kill John Wick off. But I love the first two. They were all right. And I think that third one was But I think this could be opportunity. One thing is Hollywood don't want to use like women for I know I had a friend, she was offered the opportunity to maybe try out for as Wonder Woman, but because the cast didn't want to go with more of a feminine like character, they want to go back to like Linda Carter. Something like between Linda Carter and I would say Missy Trescott. That's what they want. They want the good amount of muscle, but they don't want to be too muscular. They still want that femininity. They don't want to be too feminine. They don't want to be like Linda Carter running like Wonder Woman. They want that like Tom Cruise running. But it's tough to be. And then also society does not see like I said, folks. This is a beautiful woman right in front of me. I mean, and I know you get these comments from the guys, and not just people in general, where. Yeah, you try to be a man, you try to be me, dude, no.
I'm incredibly fortunate not to get a lot of that. I think I've had one comment ever where somebody was like, this is too masculine, and it was on TikTok. And I have a lot of love on my page. My social media's got a lot of love on it. So I've been very, very blessed in that respect, I think.
Yeah, it's a good thing. It's good that the people, it's good that people fight because, like I said, you're a generally attractive woman. But the thing is, like, especially when you diet down, your face gets, whoa, people always, you get that.
Yeah,
it's tough, and people understand that one thing about being a bodybuilder, you have to follow the consistency, getting up, doing a diet, people just think of the mindset of the everyday Joe Schmo. They think that, I got to do is take this and lift that. No, those are only like the small aspect of it. You have to, I know there's times where you don't want to get up in the morning. You got to go to the gym. You don't want to do cardio. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. You rather just lay in your bed with your hubby and say, hey, honey, I want to be with you all day long. But no, you have to go get it. Because when you want to really represent yourself as an athlete. And that's what you got to remember. You are an athlete. So, what was, as you know, you had the critique from the show. What was the things that the judges tell you need to work on? And what thing you feel like is your best feature, in your physique wise?
So I definitely got told my feedback from women's physique was that my size was there and to come in more conditioned, which was funny because for figure they told me to grow. And I was like, okay, sure. It was different judges. So I actually emailed Sandy, she's the head IFBB judge. And I was like, where do you want to see me in the pro leagues? Because I did place well in women's physique. And if I'm going to take over a year off, like, do you think my structure is better suited just come in leaner into women's physique? Or do you want to see me in figure? And she told me that I have more of a figure shape and size right now. All my feedback always is to improve my V taper. But like I said, I'm very lower body dominant. And so I had, since 2018, I completely stopped training glutes and I only did legs once a week. And I started doing back twice a week, and it's kind of balanced my shape out. And just now I have switched back up my training to have a hamstring day and a quad day because my hamstrings are starting to lag a little bit by not isolating them a whole lot. If you had asked me before this year, I would have told you my quads were my weak point because they had never been lean. But I actually got told that my quads were my strength this time around. And I think because they finally got my hormones balanced enough to get my legs lean. And so I have big quads, outer quads. My inner VMOs can always use work, but that's from chronic knee issues. And they're very hard for me to activate without a lot of pain. But I'm always looking to improve my lat spread and my shoulders.
Yeah, because your lat spread is different from the lat spread. Because I think only women's bodybuilders do the lat. Well, I'm seeing a lot more physique competitors doing the lat spread and they're posing. But you're just more like you just open up your back.
Yeah, I want to see my lats a lot more in my front relaxed pose. Like I want my lats to look large so that I have more of a V taper.
So you want to look like you have like a cobra's hood, you see how a cobra goes, opens up like that. You want a wingspan, you can fly like your Rocky J squirrel. But yeah, people need, it's a tough part. But like I said, I talk about this a lot, how the lines between the divisions are starting to blur. If you look even at the pro level, you look at someone like Jessica Padillas-Reyes, you look at Lola Montez, you look at there's one woman I think somebody was talking about, Paula Rentel. I think she's a German competitor. How some of these ladies are at the level they kind of almost surpassed. Like this is the one all the physique girls I talk about, Daly Bailey. They're like somewhere in between, more like Julie McCarr and Shanique Grant now in figure than what they supposed to look like. Because figure was division. Like a lady told me how it started out. It was originally like fitness, but it's cut out the whole jumping around and chicken sweat. But it's just that the lines are blurring. If you look at figure, the girls in figure look like more like girls like physique. The girls in bodybuilding now look like girls more like the women in the physique girls look more like the bodybuilders. It's just
they're getting bigger and bigger. And I was really hoping with the reinstitution of women's bodybuilding that we would see some downgrading in the other divisions in size. And I will say this is the first year that I've actually seen some smaller figure girls winning. So they're not necessarily choosing women that have the biggest backs anymore, which was the trend for a very long time in figure. Now they really are. I'm seeing a trend more towards symmetry again and not just picking the biggest upper body. They're actually looking for a well-balanced physique. But yeah, like the women's physique competitors that are winning right now have an impressive amount of muscle. Like they are quite large. I don't think my frame would be very feminine with that amount of muscle. Some women carry it very well. I think like Chelsea Dion, I think that's her name. She's a women's bodybuilder and she beautiful body. Like she carries that amount of muscle incredibly well. She looks insanely feminine still. She's still a very attractive woman. But not everybody can carry that like she does.
Yeah. Well, while back, me and some people I was part of a live stream discussion for the Female Bodybuilding channel. It was me, it was AJ, JB, David Bryant over at Female Bodybuilding Forum, also Asher Hadley, and Chelsea was there. And and one point I remember she said she was going to take a break off this year. But then I think she said she did a live stream with Margie. Margie told her to go ahead and compete it. I know she's competing at the Rising Phoenix. She's on the list. And I did a thing, or was it? I have a thing. I have my little live stream called Muscle Talk Mondays. And if you follow my channel on my IG, I post how I talk about where it's getting close to get Olympic qualification, because right now you got Texas Pro just to have it today.
Mm-hmm.
For women's physique. Women's bodybuilding has so few shows. I think at the end of this month we have the Master Show coming up. Then there's a show in Europe. And I was talking about who's going to compete at the European show, and she posted. He said yes, she's going to do that show.
She just signed a Spain contract. She posted today. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know. I tell like this. Her, Andrea, a couple of women, they really like. We strictly had a bachelor program, but that's gone because I know Jake Woods. He's moving on. He's doing more stuff like that. He's doing more promotion stuff. Like if I say Jake, I gotta do this. Jake, I want that money. I want that gun. Jake got a lot of money. He can give me that. He can keep the gun. I can just give him the money, Jake. I can use the money. Jake, you do what you got in your pockets, man. Let's do what you got in your pockets. I don't need a lot, just enough. But yeah, it's just women like her, Andrea, a few others who I'm a fan of. They really would be great representatives. Like I think like this, Chelsea, Andrea should do be like shows like Good Morning America, or if you get like her and City Gillen, she's doing stuff right now. People like a couple other ladies, and maybe do more of try to get out there. But the thing is, people got to accept the fact that these are athletes, but it's still women, it's still feminine, and that's why I talk about this on my channel, and and that's why I respect what y'all do. Yes, here's the thing is, I'm gonna say this, and KL knows it, Rahi knows it. I'm a muscle person. I find y'all very, 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 very attractive, especially from a black man being in the South. I do, I just have a taste for some women. Just something different about your ladies. But then doing this content, I get to learn what the stuff you go through, and some of these ladies tell me stuff that most people don't know about. And it's good that right now I just have somebody sending me a message right now to hear my phone. But it's just people got to understand this is a tough sport, and if it was like more like which there was more benefits to it financially wise, as I said earlier, the cost of your suits, everything else. Guys got put on a spray tan, a banana hammock, and a pair of board shorts. That's about it.
Yeah, for sure. And you see the women's prizes even are significantly lower, even at the Olympia level. Like I think because the male open bodybuilder winner, like Phil Heath every year, it's a $400,000 prize. And I think the most expensive women's prize is $50,000.
Yeah, that's for Andrea. Andrea gets 50. I know Natalia got 40, I think. And Andrea, when she does the Rising Phoenix, she gets another 50K plus a car. So they then also, they have they have more little prizes too. I think a friend told me that it cut out the whole video part, so it's probably just for most muscular and best posing now, and plus those are the ones that get. But now Sarah Vilgas with the Texas show, she put up 15K. Also for Pittsburgh, she put up 20K. She's like, I'm not a big Sarah Vilgas fan, but I like the fact she's putting her money where her mouth is for a division. And she said she wanted to do the same thing for a figure. I mean, for physique and on sorts of classic. But this is from my movie again, and Kay, I know he hates it. From Batman Begins, how Ra's al Ghul said to Bruce Wayne, "Or to take your enemy, walk quietly behind them and stab in the heart." And and that's how he did it to his bodybuilding. But we all know, and this is if you know anything about pimping, the men's division is the bottom bitch. Guys like Nick Walker, you mentioned, guys like Heidi Chopin, who's a champion right now, guys like Big Ramy, they're gonna always get the attention. They're gonna get sponsored. Other than only women that do get a little bit more sponsorship like that is women in bikini, and well, because they fit the ideology. It's like it's more capable for. I just gotta get in diet, get in shape, have big honkers and a fat ass. I can be a wellness competitor, or I can be a big bikini competitor. But with the other divisions, such as with you women in physique, figure and physique, and women bodybuilding, you get that stink eye. And the sports evolve, but you know what? No one tells these guys not to get bigger and get hard. So they just recently decided to put in, after the men's physique division, after this Olympia, they're going to change the criteria, and just announced about a couple of weeks ago, they're changing the criteria for men's classic.
Yep, increase the weight cap.
And then, like I said, I remember years ago when, I think after the 90s, it was going to put in policies for women's bodybuilding. They had weight classes for women. They put in, 20% less, but then they changed it because everything started changing. You can't, these things, you can't pigeonhole when you're especially your body develops. Some people have good genetics, and sometimes some people know how to put in hard work. And I know they want women's bodybuilding was suffering because, like I said, I'm a big fan of women's bodybuilding, but still, it's still here. It have a little more shows than they had compared to the last few years. But as you grow and develop as an athlete, there's one lady who I follow. Her name is Jenny. I know you know her. She was a figure competitor. She decided she didn't want to compete because I follow her on social media. This is a pro because the fact that she says that she didn't want to grow and change because I don't know if you've seen her. I say a picture to her later, and you might recognize her. But
she just pro and has a lot of tattoos.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about. She got really hair.
Yeah, we talking here. She just did a live stream. I like her. Like I said, she has a great physique. Mm-hmm. She, even though I think she is a little closer to physique than it is to figure, especially she got broader shoulders. She has more details in her muscle compared to like if you look at someone like Cindy Gillen, And also say I know you got tattoos, but to me, I'm not a big fan of tattoos. They do take away some aspects of the physique.
They can, yeah.
Yeah, especially if you put them in certain places like the back. The back, I have some women have won them shows. Like one person that I follow, Teresa Vasic. She has won the better back. She won her last couple of shows off her back. This year, Teresa's kind of not doing too well. I think she just talks that she might be stepping out from the division. I don't know. But as a competitor, when you decide to work on certain things, build your body, and you say, you know what, you talk to your coach and say you have a plan. What's on your mindset when you go to show and get prepared?
I pretty much try to maintain the same mindset year round, and it's that we have a bigger goal in mind, because the thing about competing is like, yeah, when we're in prep, there's a level of discipline that most people will never have to encounter. And it does take some mental adjustment to prepare yourself to be that uncomfortable, because being lean is uncomfortable. It hurts. It hurts to sit when you don't have fat on your butt. Like I would be sitting on my couch and I have to constantly rearrange because my butt hurts because I can feel my bones sticking into my muscle. And there'd be days walking around the hospital where I have to tell myself, like, you can keep walking. Your legs are just tired. Like, just keep moving. And but even in the off season, like you have this mindset of follow the meal plan, put the most into your training as possible. Use this as a time to allow your body some rest and recovery, but knowing that you're going to flip a switch here soon to where you're really going to have to shred as much fat as possible and get to a level of discomfort and the discipline. Like you said, like some days you don't want to get up and go to the gym. Like you don't have the energy to go do it. And when you have that mindset in an off season where you can maintain that discipline, it's a lot easier to stick with that in a prep because that mindset's already existing.
It's kind of like, like to quote my man Rocky Balboa, it's not matter how hard you can hit, it's about how you can take the hits and keep moving forward. And life is tough for you competitors. Like people, especially a lot of you guys who are sort like myself, like most of them were just thinking, when y'all ladies are shredded, y'all, that's when y'all your weakest because your body's dehydrated with water. You don't have fat. Sometimes you have, especially like eating carbs, you have carb brain because it's tough, and I know some people when y'all ladies on stage, your competitors up there, you're under the lights, you're in your glory. But don't people realize that you're suffering. I mean, like I said, situation that you don't, hey, if you need some fat, I got plenty of it. I can give you some you need. I can give you like about 20, 30 pounds if you need it. You can use that. But, people got to understand that this is a tough sport. And if you're not willing to put in the time and work it, don't do it. I know I have some things that I can't give up. I mean, sometimes I cut back. But it's hard, especially it's calling me, man. Be calling me some days, man. But it's the discipline. You gotta respect that, And when you work it out, what's your favorite workout and what's your least favorite workout? What's the thing you like? I love doing this, and this one say, shit, I don't want to do it.
I hate training arms and chest. This is my cat Pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
We have 5 dogs and 2 cats because we're crazy. But when I'm upstairs, I have my kitty babies, and he was going to yell at the camera until I picked him up. So that's
my one of my older sisters, she had like poodles, You know, my mom, she had some fish and some cats. We grew up in the country. We had like dogs. We had no breeds anything. We had mutts and stuff like that. You know, but yeah, I understand. You know, your cat is your baby.
I have dogs because they're a lot. But they're my babies. So, but anyway, I don't like training chest and I don't like training arms. I actually do like one bicep movement a week, one tricep movement a week. My arms just grow. I have genetics that most men want where I don't have to train arms or calves. And I kind of cut out my chest training due to my breast augmentation. And now that I'm not in women's physique and not having to really have big pecs, I haven't really prioritized training chest as much because of that. But I really enjoy training legs. Actually, I love training my quads. And I like the suffering because it's probably my hardest workout. And I love to deadlift and rack pull.
Leg day. I know I'll be some ladies I become friendly with. We joke around, say, George, I just did leg day. Oh, so you feel like the episode of the Chappelle Show when James goes over to Eddie Murphy's house, and they beat up his legs, and then he's like, "Whoop my legs, Charlie Murphy." That's it's just I pick on that, but yeah, I mean, it's good that you found like chest thing. Like I said, you know, you get like breast implants. That's one thing factor about because I know some ladies say they don't like to do too much, especially if they get them. Some women they kind of go overboard. Some women I follow, and some ladies I'm really cool with. And I tell them, hey, I like pick out and say, you know what, I feel like I might, you know, do like Rocky Balboa.
I do joke in my Krav class that if I ever get stabbed in the chest, that I have a good 5 inches of cushion. So
yeah, I mean,
I hope that they go for that first, and then it'll protect my heart. So
yeah, I don't know. Some, you know, I mean, you know, some guys, I don't know. You're like, if you got a woman that big, she gets on top, boom, boom, boom. So you look like you're, hey, yo, man, how you doing? I just, yeah, you look good, has some sexy. I know, you know, it's like this, you know. But that's one aspect of, especially to, you know, women, breast is considered very feminine, as you know, and some women they don't get them. That's their choice. That's you know, like I said, I'm a big fan of women who are like someone like Shannon, who's very great pecs, great development. But like I said, that's your choice. That's what you want to do. You know, it's one of the aspects of bodybuilding. It's like, especially the women's divisions, where you have to be more.
So to be lean enough, you kind of have to lose them. So
yeah, because you know, because breast tissue is fat, and you need that fat to build the muscle. But you know, but like I said, you know, that old saying sometimes more than a mouthful is a waste. But it's just, you know, it's a lot of work to maintain and to do this sport. More people understand it. I know one thing is like friendships. Like I talked to some ladies that told me how they lost friends because they don't understand. You can't go out and go drinking all night with your buddies. You can't do this because you got to get ready. You got to go to nap. You got to get rest. I know there's one lady who I follow. She just went to a family function and she had to bring her own food. Mm-hmm. And you know, and I know like when you go visit your parents, I know, honey, have this. And you say, Mom, I can't have that. You know, shit, honey. It's like, you know, say, nah, Mom, I can't have that. And you know, what's your favorite? When you're prepping, what's your favorite and least favorite thing to eat?
I like my chicken, rice, and avocado. To be honest, I love avocado, so I'm always happy to have that. But Matt, we keep my plan very simple. So I eat the same food in off season as I do in prep. It's just different quantities. So it's literally the same. Oh, right now though, I love blueberries. I have a hard time weighing those. I double them in my mouth.
You sound like Pookie in New Jack City. Said, man, them blueberries be calling my name, man. It be calling me, be calling me, be calling me. This is about me. When I started, you know, losing a little bit of weight here, I said, you know what? One day, just like maybe the weekend for Mother's Day, I had to go to my cardiologist and, you know, just see if things okay, if everything's fine. And my nephew, he told me, he said, "Well, get some stuff for me because, you know, we need to get stuff for the Mother's Day thing." Okay. So I go here, I go there, I go here. I say, you know, I'm hungry. And one of my favorite foods is Chinese food. I'm a Chinese loving whore. And I went to this place that was like a little bit from Walmart. Stopped there, got myself a plate. And I just, when I was eating it, I said, you know what? It just don't feel like it used to. When I used to like, but now I just like, you know, it's kind of heavy. I mean, it's just, and you know, people gotta say, even though the, you know, it's the same thing, but like CT Fish says, you don't eat it for the taste, motherfucker. You eat it for the you know, for the taste, you know, for to build that body, you know.
I've gotten to the point now, anything heavily greased or very fatty, it just makes me super sick at my stomach. So I don't even enjoy eating it anymore because I see it and I see a stomach ache. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I try to cut back now and then. I might eat meat once in a while. I might be out somewhere. I might get myself a burger or something like that. I do more cooking at home. I have like, broccoli, chicken, or I might do beef. One day I cooked with some potatoes and green beans and I made some little meatballs, you know. But it's tough sometimes. And especially I'm a diabetic. I don't eat too much sugar. I try not to eat too much of it, but every now and then I have occasion for like, something creamy, something sweet. Tell me, Heather, what's that sweet thing you always like sounds pancakes?
So anything with icing on it, I do love cake or like those cookies, like the Great American cookies that come with the icing on them. I can't even have them around me. I will eat them. So I will blatantly, like if they're around, I'll say like, nope. Like, and if I'm in prep, forget it. If they're in a break room or something, I make people walk in with me. Like you can walk in there with me because I won't eat it in front of you. So you can walk in there with me. So I don't eat this cookie with the icing on it.
You need intervention, huh?
Yeah.
So hold my hand, girl. Don't.
Me to fill up my water real quick. I don't need that temptation. Like just distract me so I don't eat this cake.
Yeah, I mean, man. I used to work one of my jobs. I used to work in textiles, working with women all day. Sometimes we have like a big old for the holidays. The ladies will bring something to cook something. Sometimes ladies will fix you something. I'm telling you, sometimes that's why Plus, I have my mom. She was a good cook. But it's just tough about the fact. But people gotta remember that the eating part is necessary to grow as an athlete. Mm-hmm. What you eat is the thing that helps. You can't eat everything. You got to eat something that's not too starchy, not too sweet. It's just you have to have that happy medium if you can. So, folks, this is a lovely lady right here, and I know she's busy. She got things to do. Just I really appreciate the time she took out for me. I mean, I love talking, reach out to women like this, who have like this is how I say it. You have your boots on the ground, 10 toes down. And, and this is, like I said, again, it's a tough sport. This is why I think like this. There should be more benefits, especially now that you're a pro. And there should be more benefits to being on a pro level. What would you like to see as a pro? What things you want to see for yourself?
I guess like more sponsorship opportunities and more prize money. But I'd also, just in the sport in general, I would like to see more downgrading of the muscle requirements for the divisions.
Well, the thing is that one thing is I think there's too much indecisiveness among the judges. They will tell you one thing and tell you another. They told you, oh, you need to grow in figure. They didn't tell you you're just too big in physique. It's just, this is where I think it really confuses a lot of athletes where they don't have a set. I talked about this with ladies who I've become friendly with. We talk about how there's no set guidelines. And then also you're risking your health and your life sometimes to compete. Because I did interview one lady, she fainted. This is like about 15 years ago on the stage at the Olympia. I've seen, I remember seeing pictures of Ronnie Coleman sitting backstage with a gas mask on. And you work as a nurse, and you should know that this should be more benefits. I mean, like one thing, there was like a few years ago, we had a lot of deaths. I mean, there should be more, provisions for you athletes. Like, okay, we have somebody here just in case, if you're backstage, hey, you got a nurse, but you need more of the equipment, stuff like that for if like air, water, emergency service, a doctor, just in case if something serious happens. I think it should, as like this, as a fan, we come see you competitors. You are the product of these organizations, the NPC, the IFBB, or whatever organization. There should be more protection for you. There should be more consideration. Like we get this pro card. It should be like, okay, I got, if I need something, like, I can get, discounted this, benefits of that, health, life insurance. You do that have on your job. This is like this. If this was like any mainstream sport, like football, basketball, all the big name sports, even women in soccer are making a lot of money now these days. WNBA is still struggling, but I think bodybuilding is still that sport. It's seen as a freak show. You get the finger pointing at you because, oh, you're on steroids. Yeah. I just saw one of my favorite boxers. They say that she was on steroids. I don't think she is. It's just something they're just saying. But there should be more consideration for your health and your safety. And like I said, yes, if they need to tone down the requirements, it should. But it seems like it's just keep jumping and changing and keep jumping and changing. Yeah.
I am going to shamelessly put in a plug here for Morph, because that is one thing I love about that company is I do have a lot of athletes that come to me, and there is absolutely zero judgment on what you're taking. My job is to optimize your health and normalize your labs as best as possible, with all that in play. So that is one service I'm very thankful for, is that company that allows me to treat people judgment free.
Mm-hmm. Wait, don't be ashamed putting you good. There's no shame. This is you're my guest. You want to plug something? Fine. If somebody got a problem with it, come see me, Ma. Come see me. This is my show. Yeah. She gave me a flexible for you guys. That's how she did. Not too much, but like this. This is what about the sponsorship. What I would love to do. I know there's people out there, and I know there's guys out there. If you have the money to throw in, like doing sessions like that, and one thing, a lot of ladies, you do have to find ways to make money. And I know some ladies do OnlyFans, some women do these other, as I call them, the beat to meet websites. That's what they are. Come on, when you like this is old saying somebody told me a long time ago. I used to be on this chat room. He said like, well, you ladies rock hard, we're rock hard, and it's the aspects of it that if there was more sponsorship especially for you ladies, the guys in men's open, men's physique, men's classic, also in the bikini competitive ones, because they will get sponsored because the fact is they can put them on face of a product, but you ladies use the products too, and I think if someone like this is why I said this, if you're someone out there who is interested in sponsoring an athlete like the lovely Mrs. Tillery here, reach out to a genuine interest. Don't be some guy say like, hey Heather, you kind of key. I like the Viking thing, if you do something for me, no, stop that. Stop that. Say, Mrs. Tillery, if you need something from me, I will happy to sponsor you. Let me know, like travel expenses. If you need something, maybe a discount of a suit, anything like that. Or if you're in the area, if you see Hillary and say, you know what, Hillary, let me take care of that for you. Those are the things in the long run help these athletes, because you know what? Instead of kid, bodybuilding is a special sport. I mean, I was talking with a couple people where it was with Keith Holmes, his wife Daphne. They compete in the pros, and how they were thinking about doing the master show coming up next month, but it costs $4,000 for both of them to travel all the way to Romania, and that's the cost they're not really to pay for, especially if they have kids and they got a home to take care of. But I would say this: if there's someone out there genuinely interested in sponsoring these ladies, just not these ladies too. I've done even with guys also. I'm a little bit more. It may not be the 80s, but I'm more for the ladies. But still, if you're someone genuinely interested in sponsoring these athletes, reach out in genuine interest. Set up a plan, set up a contract, have things put in where this stipulations where we this and this and this. You're gonna be selling this product, yeah. Like with the ambassador program when for Winter Strength. Those are the things that help these athletes in the future. Because you know what? This is a tough sport. It's not a sport that you can do forever. I haven't seen some ladies walk away completely. I see some ladies come back. It's a tough sport, especially when you change the aspects of what a woman's body is. Women, you like I say, one thing is your BMI is a little lower. The whole thing also, you talk about how your balance of your chemistry can be messed up. There's a lot of sacrifice. Some women miss out having children because they get so committed to sport because what they were taking. And also there should be more safety protocols, more guidelines set. There should be, and so again, you are the product we come to see. And there should be more invested interest in how you grow as an athlete.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm sorry, I was on my soapbox there for a minute, so but folks, we do appreciate this lady and her time. Anybody as we hear on this channel, we support women bodybuilders. We support all of I'm expanding my content a little bit more. This is my third figure competitor I've talked to. I've done quite a few. I even talked to this lady. Her name is Dr. Christina. She is a doctor and a bikini competitor. And I interviewed her a while back. I really want to give y'all ladies a voice that a lot of people don't like. People like Dee Dee on the spots do it. Naomi Kale's do it. Like David Bryan over at Female Bodybuilding Forum, like the Female Bodybuilding channel. As you look on social media, there's so few people talking about you ladies in these sports. They're going to talk about the men because they're the bottom bitches. They're talk about the bikini and the welter division because it fits what people are into. But you ladies, you put in much time, much work into the sport. You deserve a little bit more consideration. Prize money should be like, I saw that how Michaela Aycock got $2,000 at the Tampa Bay Pro. This weekend, one of the biggest shows for women's physique, whoever's going to win will get $15,000. Even sixth place will get $500. That's not much. That's just a drop in the bucket how much it costs for you to travel, this and that. But still, I think there should be also some kind of a consideration, a little like even we're not doing competing, they give you a little per diem while you're waiting off season, something. Because like I said, you paying that pro card every year to compete, there should be something you get out of it, and what you put in.
Yep.
I got shocked a little bit here. She thinks it's gonna be. She thought it was gonna be like, "Hey, you pretty." No, I'm a thinker too. But I do appreciate your time. You have anybody while we here you want to shout out to since I
Just my sweet husband and God for getting me this far, because I know that I would not be here without him. My coach and Morph. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we appreciate my mom. We always trust and believe in God. He has your back. That's good. Good that you get your man there besides your coach. Your dad, he was fighting wrestling with you. Back in the day, you was a kid. Like I said again, hey, when you town girls, town boys, we wrestle with you. We wasn't just wrestle with you. We were trying to get a feel. but folks, if you're interested in following the progress of the lovely Mrs. Tillery, her social media stuff in the description. If you're someone out there who is maybe, looking to sponsor, also if you're somebody who is interested in maybe, helping the athlete in their process, be genuine interest. Don't be that weird guy. And also, my rules, you sick freaks, you perverts. I know we see, those pictures of Hillary. She's on the stage. She's shredded. She's all oiled up. You get the little pop tint in your shorts. Stop it, guys. No D pics. She has a husband. Last thing you want to do is have this big man knock at your door and punch you in the face. So that's my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd like to thank my man Raheem Hamilton, my man KL the Wanderer. I thank you, Hillary, coming through. Anybody who watched this video, comment, subscribe, share, support these women in the sport of bodybuilding. Reach out in genuine interest. If you're looking to sponsor somebody, make sure it's really genuine. Don't be that weird guy. Don't be that weird guy. And like I said, man, we appreciate you. Like I said again, this other guy says like this. He has to say something like, "And you are beautiful too." If you ever like a particular type of criminal, let me know because I like dynamite and gasoline. I'm sorry.
For having me. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate the time. I hope the best luck for you. All wishes on you. And like I said again, as a person dealing with heart issues, I thank you for your service.
Thank
I
you.
really do. Don't say thank you to me because I one time I quote my favorite movie, Batman Begins. How Jim Gordon said to the Batman, "I forgot to thank you," and Batman turned around and says, "You never have to." I love saying that. KL hates it, but I love saying it because I love that movie. I get. But anyway, folks, thank you for coming through. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We appreciate Hillary coming through. It's again my man Raheem, my man KL. Comment, share, subscribe, follow Hillary on social media. And as you know, my rule again, guys, don't be that weird guy. Anyway, folks, this is me all the way to your page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe. I'm out. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.